Recording.
Okay. Good afternoon. I have the privilege today to meet with Miss Jane Rowland Martin, professor, educator, and author of the newest trend, Education Reconfigured, Culture, Encounter, and Change. At the end of this interview, I am hoping to understand fully the influence Ms. Martin has had on children and adults in education. So without further ado, here is Ms. Jane Rowland Martin.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me, Oprah.
I heard you came just a skip and a jump from us. Massachusetts, was it?
Yes, I am currently living in Massachusetts and have studied there for the past 2 decades. I went to school at Harvard University, where I also showed my face a few more times to teach some classes. I also did the same thing at UMass Boston.
Well, here is your new book, and that is so lovely. We're so excited to see your newest work of art. I've just shown everyone, and I wanted to know what lies beneath those pages. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Of course, Oprah. I'd be delighted. I have written as many as you know, several books in the past. This is my newest piece, Education Reconfigured, Culture, Encounter, and Change. In this book, I have challenged the reader to think about education. I mean, really think about it. People automatically assume that teachers are the only thing keeping students going in education. I test that boundary. I want parents, guardians, principals, even to think outside the box and add culture into effect.
So what you're saying is culture plays a bigger role in a student's academic life than the teachers?
Indeed. That is exactly what I want people to look into. Yes, the education you receive from your elementary teachers through college is key and definitely impacts their lives. However, have you ever just thought about what this life would be like without cultural impact? Think about the children or teens you have at home. What if they just came home every day, did their homework, ate, and went to bed? How boring would their lives be? Culture is huge. We learn a lot more outside the classroom walls than you think.
Oh, honey, I remember growing up in Mississippi. I had all sorts of cultural impacts in my life. I wasn't well off. In fact, we were very poor, and well, my family was not the average family. If I didn't have any friends, I don't know where I'd be right now.
Exactly, Oprah. Growing up for many of us is the hardest thing we ever have to do. Being educated is an advantage some of us have. However, living on the streets, having no one there for you when you get home, or just having one hell of a life growing up because specific reasons help us to grow stronger. Think back to when you were in time of need as a child or teen and someone outside of your school was there for you. I know you have at least one of those times in your life. When that person was there for you, you learned to grow stronger and beat whatever it was that was troubling you because of their impact.
Oh, Jane, it's so true. We all have had one of those instances, and if you haven't, well, I guess you've had it pretty easy growing up.
In this book, it shows teens and adults to look beyond the education you are receiving at schools, looking beyond the fundamentals and looking into the foundations we have started in our lives.
What was it that made you want to study all these ideas in education?
Well, honestly, it was a little help from philosophers of education that were already heard of as such: Plato, Rousseau, and Pestalozzi. They all have touched somewhat on education of women. This is what something has caught my attention and something I wanted to find more about.
What was the education like for women, and what did you find out on how women were treated?
No one was fond of women back then. Education was biased. Look how women were thought of for work. We were thought to be in the kitchen doing chores and having babies. I was determined to stop this and find out why.
Women today have to thank everyone that was involved in making it easier for us to do the things we do. We can be whatever our hearts desire, and it's all because people who cared the female race and how we were educated.
Exactly, Oprah. We just have to realize that education can be very biased and thus present an issue on how women and men are treated in this role.
Thank you very much, Miss Martin, for your time. Unfortunately, it's all the time we have today. I want everyone in the audience to look under your seats, and there you will find a copy of Miss Jane Rowland Martin's newest work of art, and we all hope you enjoy it.
Thank you so much for having me today, and like I said, education can be biased. Take it with a grain of salt, but stand up for what you believe in. Women are important in every way, shape, and form.
Thank you, and good night, everyone, and give it up for Miss Jane Rowland Martin.